Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, item C is approval of minutes. In the absence of any objections or corrections, the minutes shall stand approved from February 1st, 2020, regular council meeting. Okay. Hearing none, they stand approved. Item D is citizen communication. Is there anyone in the audience today that would like to address council with anything other than what is on the agenda? And if you are watching on the WebEx, feel free to type in the chat if you have any questions. Okay, hearing none at this time, we'll move on to item E, Civic Center project update.
I talked to Pat Bilo about 45 minutes ago, explained the weather situation to her, and offered her to come back in 2 weeks instead of driving now. She said that sounds like a good idea to her. So she'll be here in 2 weeks. She's not going to come tonight, just due to the weather. I thought it was a good idea. She was the only one planning on coming, so I thought that was a good, she's fine with it, and I thought we'd be okay with it too. Push it back 2 weeks. So she was very thankful for the phone call.
All right, Joel, did you have anything to add like with the project update, or want to wait till?
No, it'd probably be best to wait until the 2 weeks, but everybody, I think, has in their packets, or at least in their weekly FYIs, their business plan and their they have an update from their trustee. The board of trustees meets every month too, so they got an update from that. Shows some of their bills that they've paid so far, and then but I don't think what it doesn't show is the outstanding bills that are still out there. So, but it kind of gives a nice timeline of progression of what's happened so far with that project.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Anyone else have any questions or comments on that? Okay, moving on to reports from council committees. F1 Electric Committee was canceled by the committee chair. F2 Water, Sewer, Refuse, Recycling, and Litter Committee met on February 8th.
And we're going to discuss later the rates for scrap tire disposal.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Item F3, Municipal Property, Building, Land Use, and Economic Development Committee met on February 8th as well.
Yes, thank
Molly?
you. We were briefed on the Heritage Ohio Main Street program for downtown Napoleon.
Thank you. And the Parks and Rec Committee did not meet tonight due to lack of agenda items. No cross-country skiing out there, Tony, or anything like that? No? All right. Okay, moving on to item H, introduction of new ordinances and resolutions. H1 is ordinance number 002-21, an ordinance accepting the annexation to the city of Napoleon of 3.038 acres of land, more or less owned by William R. Myers. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, Joel?
Actually, I was gonna see if Billy wanted to comment on this one.
Yeah, I can keep this real brief. So the first time through, the first piece of legislation regarding this annexation was simply to enter into an agreement with the township. This time through, and this is mandated by statute, it just states that we need to pass legislation to accept the annexation.
All right. Anyone have
If
any?
anybody has any questions, I can try to answer them.
Great, thank you. Anybody have any questions? Comments? All right, yeah.
It is the same parcel, like I said, it's a cumbersome way of going about it, but this is the way that the statutes read, that we first have to enter into an agreement with the township, and so we had to pass legislation to do that, and then they take that agreement to the county, they file their application, then it comes back to us, and then we have to pass legislation then accepting the annexation. Yep.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, Rox, please call the roll.
Ross?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Lori? Yes. Jeff?
Yes.
Molly?
Yes.
All right. Moving on to item I, second read of ordinances and resolutions. I-1 is ordinance number 001-21, an ordinance amending ordinance number 067-20 regarding compensation of the Napoleon Municipal Court bailiff in and for the year 2021 and declaring an emergency. Have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Joel?
Thank you, Council President. This was a request from the judge that this position be adjusted in pay and have a wider range and increasing the top. Before, as you can see, these are the changes that are on the screen. If you need me to zoom in, I can, but this pay range essentially tops it out at, I believe, whoops, sorry about that. I believe at around $45,000 per year. This person is replacing Ralph that was worked as the bailiff for many years, who just retired.
I do see that we made the amendment that we are not changing the starting pay or
Right.
the minimum.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Positions filled?
Is the position filled at this time?
It is now, yes.
It is
It
now.
is. Yeah, I believe the legislation reads that it's retroactive for the position, person that's there.
It does read that.
Thank you, Billy.
Anyone have any questions or comments regarding this?
I wasn't part of the discussion. I know previous to the last meeting, there was some concern about the fact that this wasn't brought up.
During budget.
So, this is, and then it was determined that this is more of a courtesy to come to us. Is that what, I mean, right, she didn't come back and talk about it, or there was no more information supplied.
Right.
than that.
Not other than what, last week we had some, kind of compared them to other cities and what they're paying, and the one suggestion that was made last week is, she was asking to have the minimum raised as well as the maximum. And we amended that, and let's start the person out at, depending on where their qualities are and their history, and we don't want to just assume that anybody that starts should get that couple extra dollars an hour, to start off, so.
Yeah, even the top end is in line with what, the other comparable communities have the rate set at.
Do we know what was offered?
I don't offhand. I don't officially.
Let's, okay. Anybody else have any questions or comments?
Is there any determination or answer to why it wasn't brought up before? That it would have to be retroactive? I'm just curious.
Yeah,
Mhm.
no,
I think, wasn't it because the retirement wasn't put into place at the time of the budget, right?
yeah, we
Something like
didn't
that?
have an answer. That is
Yes.
one of the factors that went in. We didn't know if the individual was going to announce that they were going to retire. It was just,
That makes more sense.
it was speculated, but, and I think we actually budgeted for that individual's retirement, so it was just kind of, you just never know, and it just so happened that he wound up leaving early in the year.
Any other questions? Nope. Mr. Mayor?
No,
Just looked like you had a,
nope, I'm good.
all right. Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes?
Molly?
Yes.
Okay, that will move on to third reads. And tonight, we have no third read. We'll move on to item K, go to the city. K1 is discussion or action, approval of power supply cost adjustment factor for February 2021 as 3-month average factor .02337 and JV 2.025339. Joel, anything
Thank you.
exciting about this one?
Oh, yes, it's so exciting. It's, this is for the December usage, so we're not seeing that reduction from the expiration of the Morgan Stanley contract yet. So should see it in the next power supply cost adjustment factor, which is good news because that'll mean that the rates will be trickling down now. But they are still up compared to previous times because of lack of usage, because of the mild fall that we had, so. That's it.
All right, thank you. Anyone have any questions or comments? All right. Could I have a motion to accept?
So moved. Second?
Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Dan?
Yeah.
Joe?
Yes.
Lori? Jeff?
Yes?
Molly?
Yes.
Okay, that has been approved. Moving on to item K2, discussion and action on rate review for refuse tag required for scrap tire disposal. Joel?
Thank you, Council President. So in the Board of Public Affairs meeting and the Water, Sewer, Refuse, Recycling, and Litter Committee meeting, we discussed something that had been brought up previously, I think about a year ago, and then came up again as a question of what did we do or what did we find out with as it relates to the spring and fall cleanup. And what we found was that originally, if you recall, we'd looked at, since the county solid waste district increased their tire disposal fees, that, would or should we, as the city, increase the tire disposal fees for the spring and fall cleanup. Right now, we require for a passenger car tire, a $2 tag. And, the recommended rate would be a $4, just basically all of the tire rates would double to match what the disposal rates are now at the county landfill. So with that said, I'm gonna go down to the spring and fall cleanups over the past 4 years. So you'll see the total cost of tire disposals going up from 2017 to 2020. How many tags were purchased for them, and then the difference here. So what we wind up seeing is that we see this increase of tags to disposal. We wind up a little bit ahead in the revenue in the previous years as the fee has gone up. We're seeing that we're not recouping that cost, but however, we're talking about such a small amount that our refuse rates and our sanitation fund can cover the difference very easily. as you noticed, as you know from the Kelly's presentation on the year-end review of all the major funds, the sanitation fund, even though we added a position and got rid of CCNO, and also we added a bag for residents to throw their refuse away. We added a bag without having to add a tag. We still wound up on the plus side by roughly about $50,000. Now, I think a lot of that did have to do with the recyclables not being collected during COVID and then disposed of when Whirlers wasn't taking the recyclables and doing the sorting. So I think there was some savings there, but I think for now and with the health of the sanitation fund, you know, for a difference of, you know, $250 to $500 a year, you know, I guess the question is, do you want to raise the fee to match the county disposal rates, or consider it a service to the residents who pay for the refuse fee, and just, you know, chalk it up to, you know, that's the cost of doing business with, you know, tire disposal. So the Board of Public Affairs recommended to increase the fees to match the county disposal fees, and then the committee, Chair, correct me if I'm wrong, just moved it to council for further discussion. So I guess that's kind of that's where we left off is, you know, is it time to raise the fee for the tire disposal now or not? I think one of the comments too from Rory was, we haven't touched the tire disposal fees in a number of years, and by accepting this, you know, recommended increase, we won't have to touch the tire disposal fees again for another many years. So that was one of the comments that was made.
I think we're doing enough increases right now with the water and the wastewater, and for this minimal amount, and we're already charging the customers with their monthly bills, and we're talking a couple $100 over a year. That's
I agree.
My thought.
We're doing a lot of work for $232 extra.
yeah.
Just leave it alone.
The spring cleanup was because everybody was home for a change.
Yes.
After that, once they got the garages cleaned out, the fall cleanup was very little difference.
Yeah.
I think we should just leave it alone.
It's a great point, Ken.
So
That's a great point.
twice a year, Jeff and Chad, they put together a great report on the fall and spring cleanups. And this is a part of the tire disposal piece, as a separate carved out piece of this. So every year the Water, Sewer, Refuse, Recycling, Litter Committee can take a look at, takes a look at it, and council gets it in their packet at some point. So, if we start seeing fluctuations that are greater than this, then, maybe we can raise it up at a later date. But
Anybody else have any questions or comments regarding this? Okay, we will move on. Item K3, discussion or action, application for placement of farmland in agricultural district. And just need a motion to direct the law director to draft legislation.
Second.
Anything discussed there? Just, it was from our meeting we had a few minutes ago. Rox, please call the roll.
Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Dan?
Yeah.
Joe?
Yes.
Lori? Yes. Jeff?
Yes.
Molly?
Yes.
All right. Moving on to K4, discussion or action on Parks and Rec Board recommendation to implement a trial fee rate that is 50% of the current rate of motorized cart rentals.
actually, I'll just turn it over to Tony.
So in the packet, you had a memo from myself. The board met last week, and at actually the request of council, brought up your budget time. if we had a rate in place for those folks that would either drive their own golf cart or even trailer it to the golf course, we do not have that rate in place at this time, so it was discussed, and we thought it would be a good idea to put rates in place in the event folks did bring their own cart to the course. Doesn't happen that often, maybe once or twice a year, but having a rate in place was they felt was a good idea. So the recommendation was to take each of the rental rates that are already in place and offer that at 50% discount for those who bring their own cart to the course. At the current rates, like a 9-hole rate now is $7, so someone bringing their cart on would pay $3.50 as a trail fee. And then 18 holes is $5. We offer a prepaid rental card. That's for 10 rentals, so that would be $27.50. And then an annual cart membership for those who want to bring their carts all season long, that would be offered at $130.
This does not affect the people that leave their carts in our cart corral all year?
It is not.
Okay.
That's a different rate, and that's a rate that we have, and that we offer them with storage as part of that rate.
Okay.
So there's more cost than just maintenance and purchasing the carts. We're talking about replacing the cart paths, and if it is kind of wet out there and getting divots from carts and things, just want to make sure people understand that, you know, hey, if I'm bringing my own, why would it cost more?
Yeah. And it's typical, there's not that many courses that have this, but the ones that do, they have a small trail fee.
Okay. I think that's great. Anybody have any questions?
I think that sounds reasonable, but I did have a call from a citizen who felt that as a taxpayer, if he's gonna have to go to the cost of getting his cart licensed and all that he needs to do to make it drivable and bring it, that he didn't think it was right to have to pay anymore. I just wonder, you know, percentage-wise, is that $3.50 in a normal cart for $7, and $3.50 going toward the upkeep of the path, and $3.50 going up for the upkeep of the cart itself? So, you know what I'm saying, is the percentage. I'm just asking because he was concerned about it, and I said I would certainly ask about it, just to get some clarification.
I'm not sure about that.
Or how they came to that amount.
They just felt that it should be reduced at some point, and just the consensus of the board that thought that 50% of what the current rate is was a lot.
If I can interrupt for just a moment, I just wanted to make clear that legislation will be needed. These rates are in the codifieds, so if we're going to modify the codifieds, we need legislation.
Thank you, Billy.
Modify the codified.
Tony, you checked with other courses too that do have trail fees, because a lot of them just don't have trail fees. You have to use their carts or nothing else.
There are actually none in the area. There were trail fees that were offered in other courses that are not necessarily. Again, they're just courses like in communities where they may have a golf course in a community, like an executive golf course or something like that.
It was just a recommendation from the board, so
Yeah.
you can go with the recommendation, you can modify it if you think that it could or should be
Well,
something else.
Yeah, so I guess after listening to what Lori just said, I mean, I guess that does seem a little bit steep. If you're thinking about every time you go on the golf course, spend $5 for like road repair, kind of, you know, and that seems.
How many people does this affect, Tony? Typical?
Yeah, it's new.
I think we had maybe one, possibly two last year.
Yeah.
So it affects very few.
Very few, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's why we never really had it on the books before.
So before this, if somebody did this, they would get charged nothing, or they get charged the full rate?
They got charged, what I have to check. Like,
Okay.
I think it happened one time last year when I was reporting from Diane Wrestler.
Okay,
And I believe that they got charged, possibly the full rate.
the full rate, yeah,
We wasn't sure what to charge, because we didn't have any.
right, right.
They could have been charged with driving a vehicle, an unauthorized vehicle on the city street.
No, it was trailer. It was trailer, Joel. I'm sure it was trailer. I'm sure it was.
All right, yeah.
Yes, it was trailer, I'm sure.
It actually was there.
Was
Yeah.
it? Okay. I think it's great that we offer this, because I know sometimes, Tony, if we have a good problem to have, if we have a lot of people at the golf course and run out of golf carts, it's nice that other people are bringing their golf carts, because it may help us a little bit. So I'd hate to deter people from, still gonna have to pay, $3.50 or $5. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but
Yeah, it doesn't sound a lot, but it does feel like an advantage to have my own car, right, just drive up there and pay for golf, as on top of your taxes or stuff.
yeah.
from a placemaking perspective, I think it's kind of cool that people would have the ability to drive from their home or from wherever to the course to, not necessarily encourage it, but it's a nice little, hey, if you live in Napoleon, you get, your cart plated, you can just drive right up to the golf course and drive your own cart. And if you got a souped up one that has a speaker system or whatever in it, and, bigger tires and chrome, I mean, they're out there, so it's, it's kind of nice to have your own ride rather than, someone else's. We could always start with this rate and kind of look at the numbers after this season and kind of see where it is, see how it's affecting people. Can always make adjustments.
You may not know though, if people decide not to come because of that, if it's a deterrent.
Right, yeah,
Well-
that's true.
We know we had one last year,
Right.
so there's a benchmark.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm going on one phone call,
Yeah.
and he did
Right.
say that he does have a cart, he does not have it plated and stuff yet, and he's
Mhm.
now thinking, well, maybe it's not worth it, it's not gonna
Right.
save him any money going to them. But it is saving 50%.
say 50%, yeah.
Yeah.
If he's gonna, before
Done.
this, he's gonna get charged the plates, and he's gonna pay full fee to drive it on the golf course. We're trying to save him half the money right now. And give the golf course people an actual number instead of going, yeah, this seems right, tick, you know what I mean? That's gonna kind of position they were in last year, so.
Do we know how much the fee is? I know former Councilman Myers isn't here to answer this, but how much the plate fee is for golf cart a year?
Yeah, that sounds about right, 30
Yeah,
bucks.
I
I was
don't-
thinking 27 is what I was thinking, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know offhand what the plate fee is. But you gotta add the seatbelt, you gotta add the lights, you gotta add the,
Yep,
signaling and,
all the stuff.
yeah.
I think 50% is good for now.
Yep.
Reassess down the road if need be. The last thing I would want to happen is we take it to zero, we see an influx of people bringing their own course their own cart onto the course, excuse me, tear up the course, and then we have to raise this rate back up. Don't want that to happen. So 50% is good stepping stone.
That's compromise. Yep.
Well, I'll entertain the motion to make a law director to draft legislation.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Ross,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dan,
Yeah.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes?
Molly.
Yes.
All right, moving on to item K5, discussion or action, change order number 2 to Midwest Contracting for the Napoleon Aquatic Center project, an increase of $146,029.91. Joel, or are we calling Tony again?
I'll take this one. So we discussed this once before when we had the legislation to raise the cap for the bond in this. I think everybody knows that the bond rating, from an email from Kelly, that we have a good bond rating, and the actual rate that we got on this bond was 1.19%, which is phenomenal. We had heard that 4 weeks prior or so, thereabouts, City of Oregon, that even has an even better bond rating than we do, closed one at about 1.4%. So we did really well on that. That really helps out, and that'll help out, actually, it'll help out long-term. So our annual payments will be less as a result of that good rate. But when we raised the cap, we also said that there were some other things that we could add in. The parking lot addition, there's an addition to the parking lot over by the clubhouse side, and also the whole resurfacing of the parking lot could be included in this too. So that's what this would be for, is to cover all of the parking lot aspects. So just requesting approval of this and moving forward. I'll also note, though, too, that we are getting pretty close to the end of the project, believe it or not. I know there's still a lot of work that needs to be done, but I think in terms of financing, in terms of the project costs and, where we're at today, I think it'd be good to have a, project update at the next Parks and Rec committee meeting of council, to go over the, where we're at today, just to cover all the bases. There have been change orders, just like, any project of this magnitude is gonna have change orders. Just to kind of give a prelude to it, some of the things that we spec'd out, quite frankly, we didn't like it. Because once the building starts going up and you start looking at it, that doesn't look right. So, there's some adjustments that are being made that, we feel that will enhance the end product. That's very, very important to have that nice polish to it when it's finished. So we've got a whole list of things. We'll, it would be 1 month from today, so March 15th. I can't remember offhand who's the Parks and Rec committee chair. Is that Councilman Hayes?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're all right with it, we can bring something to your committee then, unless anybody has any questions now, or council president or any other members of council want something for full council, we can do it that way too. But at least the month from now will give us be able to put together a total package to present it, and just kind of keep everybody informed and updated.
Sounds good.
Any questions on this piece of it? At least on the parking lot piece.
I don't think so. Do we need to approve it or
Yep.
anything?
Need a motion for approval?
Yeah.
A motion.
Second.
Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Ross.
Yes.
Ken.
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
Lori.
Yes.
Jeff.
Yes?
Molly.
Yes.
Okay, that's been approved. Item K6 is discussion or action to apply for safe routes to school funding. And just need a motion to direct the law director. Do you have anything to add on that, Joel, at all?
We'll be requesting suspension
Okay.
because of the timing of the grant application due date.
Okay. Could I have a motion, please?
Question. Is this different than what we talked about a few years ago with the sidewalk on Jans Road?
This is different. We weren't fully funded for that project, which is scheduled to be under construction next year. So that'll be Jans Road and then the path leading into downtown. Part of that application, a lot of times what ODOT does is they'll take your application and how much you're requesting, and they'll we asked, I think, for 1.1 million, and they gave us 750,000, said, can you live with that? And we said, yes. So all of these other pieces that we wanted to add in, we're trying to add a lot of these into the Safe Routes to School grant. So we're not getting everything in there, but this is a key component to that.
Thank you.
Yep. And I will say the schools had a lot of input. They've been really great to work with. And, you know, a lot of good people there, good organization. We've got a lot of positive things happening in and around the campus area as a part of the Napoleon area school campus improvement agreement that we've entered into with them just not too long ago. And this Safe Routes to School piece is a part of that actual agreement too. So we had made a commitment to partner with them on this grant application. So it's
This recent payment to them was the first installment of the second installment?
second, yeah. Last year was the first. So before that third payment, the final payment is made, we'll have that discussion and either in a full council session or in a committee, whichever.
Well, it's gotta get approved by full council. I think I always wanna make sure they're doing things along the path. It wasn't to withhold it, it just was to make sure that they're going through steps.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the spirit of what was done then, so.
Yep, and they're going to bid right now on the big
It
project.
sounds like they're moving right along,
So
yep.
it is moving
Yep.
along. Yep.
Okay. Could I have a motion to direct the law director to draft legislation?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Ross.
Yes.
Ken.
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
Lori. Yes. Joe.
Yes?
Molly.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to item K7, appointment of 2 council members to the 2021 Tax Incentive Review Council. Who we have on that now, do you know?
Yourself and Joe.
That's what I thought, it was 2 of us. You want to be on again this year, sir?
I'd rather not. I'm quite busy at work.
Okay. When, do you remember when we meet?
March 25th at 9 o'clock in the morning.
It's all
Very much.
It's a
virtual.
Zoom meeting right there.
Anyone else have any interest in?
What day of the week is that?
Thursday.
Thursday. I'd be happy to do it. Something to do.
Thank you, appreciate that. Anyone else interested? You know, happy to stay on, but if anyone else is interested, it's fine. All right, so I'll make a motion to appoint myself and Councilman Durham.
A second.
Hey, Rox, please call the roll.
Ross.
Yes.
Ken.
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
Lori.
Yes.
Jeff.
Yes?
Molly.
Yes.
Okay, and K8 is discussion and action, approved donation of $948.52 for DARE graduation shirts from the Henry County Law Enforcement Trust Fund. Cool.
Oh, yes, it's self-explanatory, so I don't have anything else to add.
Do you have anything to add, Chief?
Thank you, Prosecutor Winograd.
Okay. All right. Anyone like to make a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Ross.
Yes.
Ken.
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
Lori. Yes. Jeff.
Yes?
Molly.
Yes.
All right, that's been approved. All right, we'll go around the table. We'll start with Molly.
Yeah, congrats to the Lady Cats. 2 really cool NLL wins there. And just thinking about those snowplow drivers tonight, and they did a really nice job during the last snowstorm, so I heard a lot of good things from people.
Good.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeff?
I've noticed over about the last 3 months, there is a basketball hoop in the road up on Main Street. And if you go up there or drive by it, snowplow's got a big path out and around it.
Oh,
It probably shouldn't be there.
that's right.
All right.
At least we shouldn't be having the kids play on the road.
You making note of that there, Joel?
I am, thank you. Yep, thanks.
And might as well complain about some of the sidewalks. Some of them are great, others they haven't touched. I got 3 in my neighborhood I seen before I come here. They're not touched. And with the snow we're gonna get, it's just more on top of it. So if you can have Mr. Showties do a little more out there,
He is.
yes.
Yep, he is. He's been out. He's been serving notices and knocking
Yeah.
on doors for a lot of people, so. Takes a little time, you know,
One
once.
of the houses is on the corner of Sheffield, or Strong and Norton Street. They auctioned the house off last week, and there's probably 15 people there walking through the snow. Lucky that nobody fell, but it probably would have went back on the property owner, but still, it wasn't done.
Yeah, I mean, just so you
Sure.
know, this is something that's a little near and dear to me, especially in thoroughfares.
Sure.
Because a lot of times, especially in heavier snow, what you'll see happen is people walking out into the road because it's plowed and where the sidewalks aren't, and then you get that chance of hit skips and things like that. So it's something that we experienced in Toledo when I
Sure.
was there, and it's a concern. So,
Okay.
I know Kevin's been out, he's been knocking on doors, so, thank you.
Tell him I appreciate it, and if you get enforced a little more, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Lori?
Pile on the snow a little bit more. That's somebody that was concerned, and I, since having spoken to him, experienced it myself too, but just like especially downtown, streets are plowed nicely, but then there's quite a bit of snow piled up on the curb, so that when you get out of your car, it's kind of hard to get on the sidewalk.
To hop out, yeah,
Is
yeah.
that something that can be, I'm sure it's difficult when there are cars parked and whatever else, but don't we have smaller equipment that could run along the edge there and get some of that cleaned up? Especially because then it refreezes and it's slippery and.
Yeah, that is a concern. I will say a lot of times, we do get some of the snow from the sidewalks pushed back out into the street too, which, you know, where do you put it all?
Right.
The only way to really, because you want the property owners want the snow away from the building. And we don't want that, you know, any kind of seepage getting into their basements or anything like that. So the snow's got to go somewhere. And there's just nowhere else to put it. Now, I will say that 3, 4, 5 inches, 6 inches of snow, we manage it in place. When it gets into like tonight, I was gonna mention something that, we haul the snow out. So I'm sure you're aware that when we get heavy snowfalls, we actually have to hire out a contractor, get loaders, haul the snow out. The snow gets hauled to the yard waste site. So, in this case, yeah, we'll be hauling out all the snow to the yard waste site this time.
It goes to yard waste, it goes down by Ritter Park, by the boat ramp.
It has to go to the yard waste site now. It's not allowed to put it along the river anymore.
Okay,
EPA said so.
got it.
So, and I think the yard waste site is equipped for it
Excuse me.
too, so. I believe Mr. Rathke is on the call. Jeff, do you want to say anything about that? Or would you mind?
About the yard waste?
Both. Start with the snow on the downtown.
Well, the snow downtown is really a timing issue. You know, that last snow we got, I thought everything looked really good. Sunday night, we had everything, you know, rolled out from the curb and everything, and then Monday morning, all the sidewalks got shoveled out, so, without doing another night of overtime and rolling snow, you tell me. it can be done.
I don't know if, like business owners, would they want to take it upon themselves to make sure there's a path cleared?
It really is the property owner's responsibility to manage it, or the occupant. So, in theory, yes. We don't, it's that catch, because, you know, in a residence, you gotta shovel your sidewalks, right? That's the deal. Same thing with downtown, the property owner has to shovel the sidewalks. Well, where do you put the snow?
Yeah.
You're not allowed to put it in the street, because we plow the streets. But then we plow the streets, and we plow a big, you know, mound of snow and along the curb, so that's where it winds up going. So it's still a catch. I mean, it really is, because it's sidewalks, it's incumbent upon, according to the, how it's set up, it's incumbent upon the property owners to clear it out, so. That said, you know, is there a solution? We could try to find a solution to, you know, cover out paths and things like that, but, you know, the priority for Jeff is to clear the roads. I think the parks, you guys clear occasionally on really bad storms, will help out in downtown.
We'll come in on a level 2, so if we know that the ops is going to move the snow from the downtown, my guys will come in and actually clean the sidewalks off, so it avoids the situation. But again, like Jeff said, it is a timing issue, so we can time it out, we can get all that done ahead of when they come in late at night, and that usually helps that situation a lot, but the weekend, or, you know, they don't necessarily need to come in late at night to do it, and it doesn't trigger us to come in.
So we're at a level 2 right now, and, you know, we'll be until, you know, we get things kind of cleared up within the city. I don't know if the county has issued any level warnings yet, have they?
They're level 1.
They're at level 1, okay. We go to a level 2 because it helps us get, you know, as best we can, get cars off the streets. You know, we focus on on what we feel getting emergency vehicles and things everywhere else, and then, you know, as for the, you know, the slip hazards, that's still a concern, but if there's a way for property owners to, you know, manage it in place as they can, then it's the best we can do right now.
I do in front of the hardware. There's no place for me to put snow, except right up along the edge, and
Yeah.
I don't want to fill it in, so.
I think what you were saying is, you know, carve out just a path and displace that snow somewhere else, and then you got paths between the cars or something like that, but.
Some kind of system. We don't have that much time every year that it's an issue, but it was brought up, so.
Yeah, no, I'm
Yeah.
glad, because it's a complicated issue. I mean, snow removal is not a rocket science, but it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of time, and it's a lot of cost. So that's the biggest thing is, you know, Tony and Jeff have, you know, managed it for many years and have been very effective at it.
Yeah, they're doing a hell of a job.
Yeah.
They are, they really are. Because it's not stopping, and they're still out there, so.
Molly did say she heard a lot of positives too.
You
so-
did, yeah,
I
yeah,
did.
yeah.
Very well back.
Well,
I did get a lot of
you know, we clear, like you said, we clear downtown, and there's still sidewalk, there's still the sidewalk, it gets pushed in the road, that's people park. So, I really don't want our guys, every time, clearing the downtown. Why does downtown get cleared, not everybody else, you know what I mean?
And that's
So-
that's right.
So you're kind of playing ping pong with the snow,
It depends on how
you know
much
what I mean?
there is.
So,
I'm not criticizing.
no,
No,
yeah,
no, it's a good point, because as you heard Tony say, we're in level 2 now, and they're gonna be clearing it out tomorrow, so by tomorrow, we should be able to, you know. get the
Keep
sidewalks
snowing,
cleared
you ain't
out
gonna
with
matter.
ops and parks combined to, you know, rectify that piece of it. Gotta get the snow, because you can't do anything, you can't manage it in place anymore when there's too much, so that's where that comes in.
Thank you, that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Jason?
yeah, like I say, keep fighting the good fight with the snow removal. echo what Molly said about the Lady Cats being repeating NLL champs, and also recognize our sectional bowling team that were champions. So we'll have an executive session after this for personnel, a very brief executive session after this for personnel.
Dan?
Okay, 3 items, but first of all, I am not going to say anything about a 4-letter word that starts with an S and ends in a W to avoid criticism from the mayor, so we will not talk on that topic.
Thanks, Dan, appreciate it.
But 3 other items. One, Safety and Human Resource Committee will be meeting next Monday at 7:30 with the townships. Roxanne has the notices went out. That's an affirmative. And the chief will have hard copies of his annual report that he had shared online with us for that meeting and to give to the townships. Number 2 is just a question I was received from my old neighborhood. One is, are they doing on Michigan Avenue? Is that something sewer related?
That is, you're talking about the spray, oops markings?
Yeah, the markings and the holes in the yard.
They were actually, so we looked into that. They're doing survey work. And they were going to do that before the snow hit. So they'll have to
Survey
come back,
work.
revisit for the annual resurfacing projects.
Oh, okay. And finally, there is a gentleman in the back of the room tonight that has been working for the Napoleon Police Department for the past 25 years as of now. He looks so young, it's a little hard to believe, but he's been with the PD for 25 years. And prior to that, he even had some time in the auxiliary. So I think we just need to give a round of applause to our chief.
Thank you.
So thank you for your service and your longevity.
Nice. You follow that up, Ken?
I have nothing else to say.
Perfect. That is perfect.
All right, Ross?
Nothing for me.
All right. Kelly?
Nothing for me, thank you.
And Billy?
Nothing for me, thank you.
And Joel?
Just one item. We did a little bit of fundraising. I can't remember. We talked about this during the pool project for a number of times when it first got started. And we talked about, fundraising for items for people to sponsor things and everything else. And I'm happy to tell everybody that we were successful in getting 7 out of 7 sponsors for the funbrellas, and we also got a sponsor for the rock climbing walls. So, they were $3,500 per funbrella. They'll get screen printed logos on them, 3 of the flaps that come down, that hang down. And for the rock climbing wall, that sponsorship came from the Limbird Foundation. So we'll put a Limbird Foundation thing at the top of the taller rock climbing wall. So there'll be 2 rock climbing walls now, something that we had omitted before, and we're adding back in. So that was a big bonus for us, and really did help us, put the project over the top. And I think when we go into the council committee to discuss the project funding sources and the funding of it, we'll be able to elaborate a little more on what it all means and what it all goes towards. So, just happy to say we're able to add that back into the project.
Great.
And that's all I have. Thank you.
I just wanted to add a little bit more with what Dan was asking about on Michigan.
Yep.
I did have someone ask me also about that, and they were hoping that we're replacing some of the sewers or any of the water lines there, because I know we've had a couple of water line breaks right near the corner there, Woodlawn and Michigan. It's probably been 3 that I could think of in the last 5 or 6 years, around the same spot. Is that part of the project, or is it just a resurface?
it was just a resurfacing. But let me take a look into if there's a way to, for lack of a better word, to supplement that project, to see if there's any, even a short segment that we'd be able to carve out as part of this, as a part of this. Because, yeah, since I've been here, I think there's been 2.
Okay.
You know, that's 2 or 3 in a short period of time is frequent enough to put some more eyes on it, so.
I'll tell you, that whole area is bad. It's been bad for years.
All right. I don't believe I have anything else. We have a motion to go into executive session for personnel.
Motion.
Second.
Hey, Rox, please call the roll.
Ross,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori, yes, Jeff,
Yes?
Molly.
Yes.
All right, and this will just be with the elected officials.
Yep.
Okay.
It should be about 10 minutes,
Okay,
max. Be real quick.
are you ready?
I have a comment for you after.
Rox?
I have a comment for you after the meeting.
We're good?
We're good.
All right. We have a motion to come out of executive session for personnel.
Motion.
Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Ross,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori, yes, Jeff,
Yes?
Molly.
Yes.
Okay, no action taken. Item M, approve payment of bills and financial reports. In the absence of any objections or corrections, payment of bills and financial reports shall stand approved. Anybody have anything? Okay. We have motion for adjournment.
Second.
Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Ross,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori, yes, Jeff,
Yes?
Molly.
Yes.